Alexander Rodchenko, born in 1891, died in 1956. So when the revolution took place, he was 26 years old. So Alexander Mikhailovich Rodchenko, in Russian, you read it, was born in December anyway, 1891, was a Russian artist, sculptor, photographer, and graphic designer. He was one of the founders of constructivism and Russian design. He was married to also an important artist, Varvara Stepanova. We'll take a look at some of his works. Just a second, I have to move forward. Okay, Rodchenko was one of the most versatile constructivist and productivist artists to emerge after the Russian Revolution. He worked as a painter and a graphic designer before turning to photomontage and photography. His photography was socially engaged, formally innovative, and opposed to a painterly aesthetic. Concerned with the need for analytical documentary photo series, he often shot his subjects from odd angles, usually high above and down below, to shock the viewer and to postpone recognition. He wrote, "One has to take several different shots of a subject from different points of view and in different situations, as if one examined it in the round rather than looked through the same keyhole again and again." Here was the man smoking, like most emotional people, artists or not. And some graphic works by him. The revolutionary ethos is for all to see. I'm sure they didn't have easy lives. I'm sure they struggled in many respects, and most of them died young, rather young. But they left something behind. They left a legacy, and it was a legacy of creative exuberance, of ardor, of creativity, of inventiveness, and we have to admire them for this. I keep saying this to myself and to others. We don't need more money. We have so many riches. We could do beautiful things with what we have. But what kind of apparatus or photographic apparatus do you think he had? I'm sure it was very primitive. I mean, Constantin Brâncuș, the Romanian sculptor, also had a handmade. He made a black box, camera himself, and he made beautiful photographs with that very primitive equipment. And look at these photographs done by Rodchenko. They are beautiful, and you don't need a great, expensive gadget, highly, technologized to do great pictures. You just need an inner fire to animate you, to give you the desire, the curiosity first, to investigate reality from a poetical position, to have curiosity, essentially. If you have this curiosity of the heart and of the eye, maybe of the mind as well, you create interesting things. Rodchenko again. Hello, is this Igor Stravinsky? I think it is. What can we say? Life can be indeed very beautiful when it is creative and lived intensely. Was I wrong that it is Stravinsky? I might be, I don't know. I think it is Stravinsky. Anyway, it doesn't matter who he is. It's a great photograph. Here another one, and another one, and another one here. A montage. It was a very creative time. Imagine these people emerging from the imperial Tsarist Russia. They created a new beginning. It was a birth, more than a rebirth, a birth. Maybe that Frank Lloyd Wright was against Renaissance because he thought it was renaissance, a rebirth, while he advocated, the uniqueness of birth. Well, I think what happened for the Russians then at the beginning of the 20th century was a birth. So, scenes from life. Scenes from life, from an admirer of life, because you cannot be a great artist, a good artist, if you do not recognize the beauty of life, the poetry of life. In every gesture, it's like even something like this, for someone who has eyes to see and the heart to beat, could be a beautiful, inspiration for a good photograph. RODCHENKO, he was truly a very interesting artist and very versatile. Well, we'll see a few others, Vladimir Tatlin, El Lisitsky, and Kazimir Malevich, and Kazimir Melnikov, the one who was truly, more of an architect, although he was a painter as well. Yes, is this the yes of Bjarke Ingels? Maybe. Anyway, another photograph by RODCHENKO and another photograph by RODCHENKO. The mystery of life is everywhere. We just have to have the eye to see it, to discover it, to have the open mind to accept the great variety of life. Here is his wife, the painter. And here they are, the two of them, like children, playing, look, drawings on the walls, working together. This is beautiful. True artists do not have an age. They don't, and they don't age. They are continuously childlike. Like Picasso said, it took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, and it took me a lifetime to paint like a child. Here they are again. RODCHENKO with Barbara. Another photograph by RODCHENKO. Another photograph by RODCHENKO. You can see his photographs are rather different from each other. Anyway, here he is. I think he was a handsome man, an interesting man. They really had very interesting characters then at the beginning of the 20th century. And I didn't even mention yet Mayakovsky. What distinguishes these people from us? Because the relevance of the past is only in dialogue with us, with the present. Well, I think it's this order, this belief that they could create a new life, a new society, a new art, and they were alive. They took risks. They invented things. They were rebellious. Sometimes they assumed this kind of posturing, a little bit, maybe almost threatening or demonic, but there is beauty here, I would say. Anyway. Hello, what is also interesting is that these artists who advocated the cause of the left, of the peasants, of the proletarians, they also had some kind of a liking for, at least, just like Mayakovsky as well, aristocratic or bourgeois clothing, like here. This is not truly the attire of a factory worker, but artists should be allowed certain extravagances. RODCHENKO, photography, 1924, 1954. You remember, 1924 was the year when Vladimir Lenin died. And look at this self-portrait by RODCHENKO. Do you think he had a very expensive photographic equipment? I'm sure he didn't. But you need imagination. You don't need gadgets, of the newest kind.